Don't touch that.
William S. Grant, Special Investigator. Department of Defense, Washington. Well, I guess that makes it pretty official.
Yes, I guess it does.
His body is rigid with burns. The boat's charred, too. Yet there's no sign of fire. We better get him out of the water.
I'll take care of him myself.
Just thought I'd give you some help.
Now that you've got all my vital statistics, let's have yours. Name, address, occupation, things like that.
The name's Baxter. Ted Baxter. The address, local hotel. Occupation, beachcomber and tourist. Length of stay, indefinite. Will that do?
Tell me, how did you happen to pick this particular place? Know anybody in town?
No. I have a letter of introduction to the head of the College of Oceanography here.
Professor King?
Which explains why I'm here at this particular minute. I was on my way to see him at his home when I stumbled in onto this.
Come out of there! I met you at the College of Oceanography yesterday, didn't I?
That's right. I'm George Thomas, Professor King's assistant.
You seemed a little anxious not to be seen.
Well, I saw two strangers standing over a corpse. Not being the hero type, I decided this was no place for me.
You planning to do a little diving, Mr. Thomas? This late at night?
I'm an oceanographer. The ocean's my business, day or night.
Anything particularly interesting around here?
You keep out of this. You better not do any diving around here for a while. I want you to forget that you were even here tonight, understand?
You're soaking wet.
So I am. I saw a wonderful marine specimen. I went in after it.
With the college on vacation, you're spending more time there than ever. I hardly see you anymore. I've never seen you this detached from me, from reality.
I'm working on breathtaking things, Lois. Great things.
And you still won't tell me what it is?
Not yet.
You've got your own staff consumed with curiosity. Even your secretary has asked me if I know what it is you're doing behind that tightly locked lab of yours.
She's a sneaking, prying female. I should fire her. And I suppose George is quizzing you, too.
A little. I think he feels a deep resentment because you cut him off from your work so.
He's an opportunist, not a scientist. I don't trust him nor Ethel. They're both spying on me. I'm not here. I'm in bed. I've been in bed an hour. An hour, you understand?
Oh, won't you come in?
Thank you. Is Professor King here?
I'm sorry, he's asleep. He went to bed an hour ago.
Oh, I see.
Are you sure the professor's asleep? Tell him that Ted Baxter's here. It's urgent.
Well, what do you want him for?
Please tell him.
Dad? Dad?
my friend the beachcomber. Supposing you tell me what your great interest in this thing is, Dr. Stevens. You work fast, don't you?
Oh, I've learned quite a lot about you, Doctor. You'd be surprised how well Washington knows you. Care to hear how famous you are? Dr. Stevens, oceanographer, one of the leaders in this field, author of 2 highly controversial books, Biological Effects of Radiation on Marine Life and Nature's Own Death Ray.
You have been busy, Mr. Grant.
There's more. Dr. Stevens, in a laboratory experiment, successfully activated the hydrogen isotopes in heavy water to form an atomic chain reaction. He called this development the first workable death ray. Suppose you tell me what you're doing with that Geiger counter.
Well, I told you I thought the boat showed radiation burns. I wanted to verify it. I did. Scientific curiosity, you might say.
And using the phony name, what's that for?
That's for reasons of my own.
I watched you yesterday, the way you looked out there as if you expected something like this was going to happen.
Am I to consider myself a suspect?
What happened out there seems to tie in pretty closely with your own experiments.
The evidence, if you can call it that, was highly circumstantial. Washington tell you anything else about me?
Enough to make me keep my eyes on you.
You know, if you leave me alone, I might be able to help you with this.
And then again, maybe not.
Morning, Miss Ethel.
Morning, Andy.
They found Willie Harrison's boat this morning, burned like the others. They ain't found his body. That makes 3 the Phantoms got. You know what they're saying in town? That nothing like this ever happened until they opened this school here. I can't say that I blame them. The way the professor's been acting, locking himself up in his room. He won't even let me in there to clean it. And all those noises coming from that room.
I've got work to do, Andy.
And that young one, George.
What about George?
He's following the professor around. Follows him everywhere. I seen it. Hiding behind trees. Watches him all the time. It ain't normal, this carrying on.
What's not normal, Andy? I'm not to be disturbed, you understand?
Yes, sir.
What have you got there, Ethel?
Nothing, just a piece of scrap.
HEF increase 0.56 dash 24. 0.64 dash 32. .70-18.
Keeping right up with the professor, aren't you, George?
I'm one step ahead of him. I've got to get into his lab, Ethel. You've got to help me get in there. It's worth a lot of money to me. To you, too.
I could tell him what you're up to.
You could. But you won't.
Oh, hi there. Tell me, how did you leave your house? Through the door or through the open window like your father did last night?
Through the door. I leave the window exits to Dad. Join me in a swim?
No, I'm a little winded. How about you joining me in a rest? Maybe I can pick up some of that color you have.
Care for a cigarette?
No, thanks.
Is something the matter?
No.
You seem a little nervous, Mr. Baxter.
Why don't you call me Ted? Mr. Baxter sounds so formal, especially here at the beach.
All right, Ted. Oh, it's too nice just to sit around. If you're not coming in for a swim, then I think I'll go in alone.
Now, look, you can't go swimming.
I don't like being told what to do.
Well, it's not a case of my telling you what to do. It's just that it isn't safe out there.
I think you're being a little ridiculous. Look, I've spent all my life near the water. I can handle myself under any situation.
But I'm afraid you can't in this one. I'm going to insist that you stay out of the water, at least for a while.
Insist?
Yes, you must trust me.
You really mean that, don't you?
I really do. Let's just say that I'd feel better knowing that you were safe here on the beach. For personal reasons.
You ought to do that more often.
Do what?
Smile. I like it.
Oh. Well, all I need is a bit of encouragement. And you've given that to me.
Ethel, will you go down to the supply room and get some ocean current charts?
Yes, sir.
Professor King, I wonder if I might have a few words with you alone.
Ethel, I believe you were on your way down to the supply room.
I called on you at your home last night, but you'd gone out for a walk through an open window.
Yes, my daughter Lois told me that a Mr. Baxter had called. I got a terrible scolding on your account. I'm afraid you ruined my favorite device for getting out of the house when I can't sleep.
Professor, I saw a fisherman's body washed up on the shore last night.
These men get very careless. They think they rule the sea, but it's just the opposite. The sea rules us, Mr. Baxter.
This man wasn't killed by a natural force. His body was rigid with radiation burns. I think whatever killed him was man-made.
Indeed. Very interesting. Although not within my scope as an oceanographer. Just what is it you want of me, Mr. Baxter?
Well, I'd like a detailed study of the ocean in this vicinity, the depth and the composition of the floor, anything that you might have.
Take a little time to gather them.
I'd like them as soon as possible.
Oh, I told my daughter I wouldn't work this afternoon. Why don't you come to the house about 3? Say, if you get there before I do and Lois is out, just go on right in. The house is generally unlocked.
Well, that'll be fine.
And by the way, I take it you are working with Mr. Grant, the federal investigator.
You might say so. You can come in now, miss. I hope you found the conversation interesting.
You're an inquisitive woman, aren't you, Ethel?
Oh! Well, at least you might have knocked.
Well, I did. And your father told me to open the door and come in.
He would. Would you mind handing me those things there?
Surely.
Thanks. Is Father expecting you?
Yes.
Would you mind helping me with this zipper?
Of course.
You're an awful long time with that.
Mission completed. Sorry to say.
Hello. I'm sorry I'm late.
Well, now that Dad's here, will you excuse me?
Oh, surely.
I hope these are what you wanted. Dr. Stevens. I've read your books very thoroughly, Doctor, on which, incidentally, your photograph appears.
Well, maybe it's just as well you know who I am. Have you charted the area around Baker's Cove?
The area where the accidents occurred? No, I don't think we got around to that. We've only been here 2 years, you know.
Well, you've mapped other areas in this vicinity. A few years ago, a submerged deposit of uranium ore was found along this coast. Is there any evidence of a similar deposit along here?
No, not to my knowledge. Why?
Why, this morning I made a test dive over the area where the accidents have taken place. They weren't accidents. There's a shaft of light coming up out of the ocean. I have reason to believe that it's nuclear in character. Now, any object coming in contact with this light would be subject to extreme radiation. I believe this light killed 3 men.
Incredible. You say you made a close examination of this light?
Not as close as I would have liked to. It was being guarded by a sea serpent, a hideous beast that defies description.
Oh, Doctor, if I didn't know that you were a scientist of high standards, I'd say that you were the victim of the ridiculous phantom stories that are running wild around the village.
Professor, you say you've read my stories.
Indeed, I have. Much of my work is based on your findings.
Well, then you must remember my experiments on activating the hydrogen isotopes in heavy water.
Oh, but that was on a miniature scale in a laboratory with a lot of equipment. But on the ocean floor...
I proved it could be done. I used artificial means to start the reaction.
Then you think that with the submerged deposit of uranium ore, you can get the same reaction on a much larger scale?
A weapon like this could destroy anything coming in contact with it.
Oh, fantastic.
Once the chain reaction had started, it could continue indefinitely. As a matter of fact, keep growing larger.
And what about the beast down there? Was he man-made too?
I believe so. Since marine life lives in a constant flow of heavy water, the effect of radiation on it would be completely different than it is on humans.
Well, that's your theory on mutations, isn't it, Doctor?
Yes. And if what I believe is true, this monster that I saw in the ocean was a mutation of some sea creature. You see, it draws its energy from the nuclear light itself, just as plant life needs the sun to grow on.
Well, have you any evidence to support this fantastic theory?
I created such a mutant in my own laboratory.
Oh, come now, Doctor.
I destroyed it, just as this creature must be destroyed, and the knowledge that went into creating it.
You think that knowledge might have come out of my college? Since I am head of that college, obviously.
Professor, in science, we look for one thing and find another. We split an atom and the hydrogen bomb has evolved. We set up a simple experiment or study on underwater life. Something new and horrible is created.
I feel as if I and my experiments are suspect.
Well, I haven't overlooked that possibility. If it were a matter of pure science alone, I'd be inclined to examine you most closely. However, there's another element.
Another element?
The person responsible for this terrible weapon has offered it for sale to the highest bidder.
For sale? I don't believe it. Hello. Yes, Mr. Grant. We'll have them ready for you in the morning. That's right. Goodbye. Grant's going to make a dive in the morning. He's borrowing some equipment from us. We can't let him go down there.
Why not?
Well, in view of what you told me, I thought, well, it's not safe for him to go down there. Why are you staring at me, Doctor?
You seemed so skeptical when I told you the results of my test dive. Yet you show genuine concern for Mr. Grant's safety. Good day, Professor.
Ethel. Did I startle you? I'm sorry.
I didn't hear you come out.
I forgot to tell you, Mr. Grant wants to pick up a full set of diving equipment tomorrow. Have it ready for him.
Yes, sir.
And tell George and the night watchman, in case you're not here.
Yes, sir.
Ethel, I consider you an intelligent woman. A bit bitter, perhaps. No great lover of mankind, but still intelligent. I'd like your opinion. What would you consider a just punishment for a man or woman who would betray his fellow man for money? One who would take a scientific discovery of monumental scope and use it to line his or her pockets.
I don't know.
Would you consider death just? Well? No matter. You can tell me some other time.
Hello. Get me Mr. Grant, please.
You shouldn't have come here. I may have been followed.
There was a time when you would have welcomed me under any circumstances.
They've got federal men investigating. They must know something. They're planning on making a dive tomorrow.
A dive? They've got to be stopped.
How?
That's your problem.
You shouldn't have come here.
I had to. I got a cable from Antwerp. I'm to fly there in 2 days. They're expecting me to bring some vital information from you.
I'm not ready.
You were ready enough to accept a considerable sum of money in advance, weren't you?
I won't know anything until I can get into King's lab.
Then get in. Butt your way in.
I tried that with his secretary. It didn't work.
You're facing some serious problems, George. You have 2 days in which to find the answers. I'll be leaving for Europe the day after tomorrow.
Where will I find you?
I'll be spending most of my time soaking up a little sun at Colby's Point. That's where we used to meet, remember?
I remember. For quite a while, we were just a man and a woman, weren't we? I didn't know then they could put beauty and poison so cleverly together in one package.
Colby's Point, remember?
Is it all right to talk here?
Go ahead.
I can tell you what you want to know.
All right.
Lovely.
Thank you. I hope my caller feels the same way about it.
I'm sure he will. Dr. Stevens is very observing. He's a bright young man. Sometimes I think he's too bright.
Too bright? I don't understand what you mean.
Oh, just an old coot thinking out loud. You know, science is a devouring mistress. She devours all who seek to fathom her mysteries. And for every secret she reveals, she demands a price. A price that a scientist must be prepared to pay. Even at the cost of his life. Or the life of others who stand in the way of his search.
You say that almost as though you were threatening me.
You? What nonsense.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening. I dare say you two won't mind being left alone.
You're beautiful.
Which is a good opening line for any date.
Oh, I've got more. But they require an entirely different setting. How about a nice walk along the ocean?
He may fool the rest of you with his soft voice, but not me. He's a killer.
You can't accuse King of treason just because you hate him.
I'll accuse him of anything. He sent my only son out in a squall to get his filthy ocean specimens.
Proof, Ethel. I need proof.
He works behind those locked doors of his. If I could just get in there, I could get you all the proof you want.
We may be able to figure out something along those lines. If I could show you how to make a wax impression of those locks, could you do it sometime tomorrow?
I'm sure I could.
Come on.
Better be getting home. It's late. It's been a lovely evening.
Yes, it was pleasant. And it did go fast.
Mostly in talk about my father and the college, now that I think of it. You've learned a great deal about him.
natural curiosity about a fellow scientist. There were some very pleasant moments of silence, too.
We really should go.
All right. You go home and call Bill Grant. You'll find him at the hotel. Tell him I'll wait here for his instructions. Hurry, please.
They're burned worse than the fisherman was. I think it's about time we did something about this.
We? Am I off your list of suspects?
Earlier today, I had a long talk with Washington. You were the topic of conversation.
Am I to be shot at sunrise?
They told me to cooperate with you. You could have floored me. They put you on this case, too, and didn't even tell me about it.
I thought they would eventually. Apparently, they wanted two completely indifferent investigations of this. One from a scientific point of view and one from a
gumshoe, government style? Pacific College of Oceanography. You know, this spear may be our first real break. Kind of narrows the field down, doesn't it?
Yes, it seems so.
I think I'll take it down to the crime lab and have them dust it for prints. How about you going down to the college and picking up some diving equipment? I checked with Professor King, and he said the night watchman would give it to us.
Okay.
What do you say we make our dive about 6 a.m.?
Yeah. Bill, I made a test dive yesterday. It's pretty grim. There's a shaft of radioactive light down there. Touch it and you're dead. And if that isn't enough, there's some kind of an animal standing guard over it.
Then there really is a basis for these phantom stories?
I'm afraid there is.
This'll take care of it. And I won't miss.
Now, my principal interest is the light ray. Now, you will have to draw whatever it is down there away so I can get a good look at that light. And Bill, now, it isn't going to be easy or pleasant.
Neither is this.
Still want to go in? Feel all right? Okay.
I'm picking up King and his assistant.
What for?
The poison in that mask came from the college, and so did the spear that was fired at you.
So we can prove a charge of attempted murder. That's not what we're after. We want to know who created that thing and how to destroy it. Don't you understand, Bill? It's the knowledge, the know-how that went into making that ray. That's the real danger.
It all ties together. We were getting too nosy, so King tried to get rid of both of us.
Maybe it was George. Maybe both of them. The secretary could be tied into it for all we know.
Now, roll her out. We were, well, talking. She tells me she can prove that King's behind this whole thing.
Prove it? How?
I rigged up a set of keys for her to get into his laboratory. She tells me all the proof I need is right in that room.
I hope she's right.
We'll know tonight.
One of the spear guns is missing.
I saw King take one out yesterday.
That's odd. I thought I saw you carrying one when you left last night.
You see too much, Ethel. You should wear blinkers. Is he in yet?
No.
I've got to get in there today.
Break the door down.
He mustn't know, Ethel. This is important to me, as important as staying alive.
I can't help you.
This is serious. I'm in trouble. You like that, don't you?
I've too much trouble of my own to worry about yours.
Morning.
Good morning. Dad told me that you and Mr. Grant made a dive.
Yes.
I'm glad I learned about it after it was all over.
I phoned the college. They told me your father was at home.
He was terribly upset when he heard the news. The boy, the one in the boat, he was one of his students.
Oh, that's a shame. I'd like to talk to your father.
You wish to speak to me?
Well, yes. I thought you might be interested in the results of the dive we made this morning.
The very fact that you're here now tells me that your phantom, as well as your light ray, is a myth, a hoax.
They both exist. The light ray, as you call it, is very definitely atomic and deadly. The only reason I'm alive is because I made sure I didn't come in contact with it myself.
It's all too preposterous for serious thought. Phantom, marine mutations, death rays, utter nonsense. I'm afraid, Doctor, that you are the victim of an overwhelming imagination. Good day, Dr. Stevens.
You don't look well, George. Or is it just that I don't find you attractive anymore?
Nothing's going right, Wanda. I don't know if I can get what they want.
They won't like it. And when they don't like something, they're liable to be a little extreme and short it. They might even come to the same conclusion that I came to last night. That you're of no use to us.
Last night?
Ethel, King's secretary, was crying a little heart out to Mr. Grant. I saw them.
Government man?
I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I'm pretty sure I caught your name.
She knows enough about me to...
Evidently, she hasn't told him what she knows yet.
What do I do, Wanda?
I know what I'd do. I'll be here tomorrow, too. But don't come unless you have something for me.
You're working very late tonight, aren't you, Ethel?
I had some work to clean up. Good night.
Ethel, I believe you were looking for these.
Dad, what's wrong?
Oh, I feel so old, so tired, defeated. Dr. Stevens, I want to apologize to you for my rudeness this afternoon. I've had a few very trying days.
Of course, I understand. Maybe I better leave.
Come in.
Professor King?
That's right.
Were you at the college tonight?
Yes, for a while.
Mind telling me when you left?
About an hour ago, I think. What's this all about?
Your secretary, Miss Hall, was found murdered a short while ago.
Ethel.
She left the college. A few minutes later, you followed. That it?
I don't grasp the significance of that fact. Do you think that I would take a human life? Willfully, deliberately?
She just as well as told me you were going to kill her.
She was killed with one of the college's spear guns.
Am I being formally charged with this horrible thing?
Not yet. But it's just a matter of time.
Come on.
Dad.
We just gonna sit here all day?
There isn't much else we can do till the sheriff gets here with his report.
No, it's just like I killed Ethel myself. I rigged the keys for her to get into King's laboratory. That's it. That's what we ought to do. Get into that room of his.
Well, assuming that it was King, which is something I'm not ready to do, he could have destroyed everything in his laboratory if he found Ethel in there. His equipment, his notes. Don't you see, Bill, it's what's in his mind or George's that's important.
Notes? Wait a minute. Ethel gave me this at the restaurant. She copied it from King. Mean anything to you?
Oh, we solved your murder for you, Mr. Grant. Same spear gun fired both shafts. The one that tried to kill Doc here and the one that got Miss Hall. Same fingerprints over both of them. They were George Thomas's, King's assistant. The dumbest killer you ever saw. Left the spear gun in his car. Same prints all over it. And to clinch it, he didn't come home last night.
I guess I'd better put in for retirement. I sure had this one figured wrong.
I called the college to tell the old man he was in the clear, but no one answered.
He's probably at home. I think I better go tell him.
Tell the old man I'm sorry.
I kind of have an idea where we can get George. Want to come along? Might be able to use some help.
Come on.
I'd forgotten how pleasant it could be, just walking.
You see, it's not so hard to take a day off. We'll do it again.
I doubt whether the trap would permit it.
The trap?
Knowledge sometimes has steel jaws, like a trap, and it can either destroy the hunter or the hunted.
You frighten me when you talk like that.
And I promise not to. Oh, here comes your Dr. Stevens.
I have some news that I think will interest you.
About Ethel's murder?
The sheriff has proof it was George.
I knew it wasn't you.
Why would he want her dead?
It's possible that Ethel found out that, well, he had to silence her.
Why the gloom? Dad's just been acquitted of murder.
Lois, I'd like to talk to your father alone.
Why?
It'll only take a few minutes, dear. You better run on home. I'll follow you there. You'd better go, please.
Ethel gave this to Mr. Grant. She said she copied it from your notes.
Intensity increased readings of the light shaft. You called it HEF.
Hydro Energy Force. You're quite right. There is a uranium deposit on the ocean floor.
How did you activate it?
That, Dr. Stevens, is my knowledge and mine alone.
But it must be destroyed.
It started with a simple animal experiment. One of yours, Doctor.
I thought so.
And I advanced it way beyond the scope of your imagination. Didn't I?
Don't tell me how you created it. Tell me how to destroy it.
I don't know that I want to.
But, Doctor, you're not free to do as you wish. 5 people have died as a result of that thing.
You're quite right. But just give me 1 hour to think about it. It's a decision that's not easy to make.
I have no other choice.
Thank you. I'll meet you here. And, Doctor, stay with Lois. She'll need you.
I know Dad's in some kind of trouble and needs me. I know it.
But your father asked you to wait here.
I can't. We've got to find him. Do you know where he might be?
Well, he possibly could have gone to the lab.
Well, then I'm going then.
No, now, wait a minute.
Do I have to go alone, or are you coming with me?
Perhaps you're right. We can't do any good here just waiting. Let's go.
Ted, what happened? That ship had just exploded.
Lois, I've got to find your father.
You can't mean that Dad had anything to do with this.
I haven't got time to talk.
Ted?
Professor King! Professor King! Mr. King!
You may come in and clean up now, Andy.
It's about time. What in the world is that? Do you mean to say that's one of God's creatures, Professor?
No, Andy, that's one of man's follies, and I pray God there'll never be another one. Goodbye, Andy.
On your feet.
Figured you'd show up here sooner or later.
What do you want of me?
Just a confession to Ethel Hall's murder.
We found a spear gun in your car. Ballistic test and fingerprints pretty well tie you into it, mister. You weren't very clever about it.
Neither was your girlfriend, Wanda.
No, I guess I wasn't. I should have learned more of my teacher. He killed in wholesale lots.
What are you talking about?
Professor King, he planted that thing out in the ocean.
What's he mean, Bill?
I think I know. Can you handle him yourself, Sheriff?
What happened? Where's Dad?
He left a few minutes ago, Miss King.
Did he say where he was going?
No, he just busted up the place and left in a hurry.
Why destroy all this? His experiments, his life's work.
I'm afraid only your father can explain that.
But I still don't understand. Do you know why he did this?
I think I do.
What a mess. King?
Yeah, I left a few minutes ago. Probably headed for the beach. We're on our way there now.
Let's take my car. Come on, we can hurry.
time, perhaps I could have stopped him. I know he meant this power to be used to help humanity, not destroy it.
I'm sure he did. And he paid for his mistake. Nature has many secrets that man mustn't disturb. And this was one of them.
I know. Only he too could have understood.
I'm sure he does, Lois. That's why he took his secret with him.
The most improbable event of the 20th century occurred in Havana, Cuba. The revolutionary victors marched in, and the national complexion changed completely. They had been liberated. The survivors of the old regime escaped as best they could, taking with them only a few meager effects, such as the Cuban treasury and other art objects. It wasn't always easy to smuggle a loot out of Cuba, and so secret meetings were being held all over the island. This story of robbery, double cross, and murder begins with just such a meeting.
Renzo Capetto?
I am. Who are you?
Never mind who I am. It's the mission that counts.
Let's get on with it.
As an American gambler and gangster, you're above suspicion. Of course, you know that our government has been overthrown.
You know, I heard that. Shut up.
But not for long. We'll be back. And if you think you're seeing executions now, oh boy.
Bravo.
Bravissimo.
Shut up.
But of course, in order to finance a great counter-revolution, it has been necessary for us to steal the Cuban treasure.
Hurrah!
Shut up. Let us proceed. You're going to lose your casino, so you'll be leaving Cuba anyway. You have a big yacht, and you can leave anytime you wish, such as immediately. Therefore, I'm going to entrust you a solemn trust. Here we have 1/4 of the Cuban treasure. Your group, General Tostada, Coronel Cabeza Grande, and a squad of men will proceed to Ciudad Trujillo. There you'll wait for us to contact you and relieve you of the money. 1/5 of which will be paid to you. Did you understand?
I get the whole picture.
Now you do the rest. Señores? General Tostada, Coronel Cabeza Grande, Señor Renzo Capetto y...
My name's Happy Jack Monahan. Glad to meet you, gents.
Mis buenos amigos americanos, nos cabe el honor de preservar el honor del honor cubano. En un solemne acto de confianza han confiado en nuestras confiables manos ese botín con el cual reconstruiremos todo lo que Castro piensa construir. Yo saludo.
And now, the gold.
You two had better get into the car.
The general doesn't know any English, Senor Capetto. I'll be his translator for you. Bueno?
Bueno.
Bueno. Métanse al auto.
Now it's time to go. Adios.
Adios.
I'll see you later, huh? Pronto.
The first move in the great conspiracy had been made. The Cuban treasury was now in the gentle hands of Renzo Capetto, the most trustworthy man ever to be deported from Sicily. They thought they were smart. But little did they know that I, Sparks Moran, was an American agent. Luckily, I had been able to work my way into the crew by posing as a notorious gum machine burglar from Chicago. My real name is XK-150.
Hey, you. Come on down here and help with this.
How'd it go, Boopsy?
We had a hairy little chase, but we got the stuff.
Crazy.
Hey, Colonel Grande, you can bring your men aboard.
What happens with all that mob?
I don't know. I thought we'd just have an officer or two, but it looks like we're going to have a little difficulty.
You think of a way to remove them and grab that loot? 'Cause you're my big, strong, swinging brain.
Mm-hmm. You're sweet, baby.
Hi, sis.
Hi, baby doll. Did they scare you?
Just a little.
Oh.
All right, boys. Get ready to go. Pete, take the wheel. Jack, you and Sparks, get ready to cast off.
Well, well, this is a beautiful night for sailing.
And so we left Cuba forever, sailing into the most astounding adventure to be inflicted upon man. And what a group we were. The big cheese was Renzo Capetto, alias Capo Rosetto, alias Rado Pizzetti, alias Zeppo Staccato, alias Shirley Lamour. At 15, he served his first stretch for rolling a drunk in the lobby of the Waldorf Astoria New Year's Eve, 1934. In 1940, he was involved in an unsuccessful attempt to nominate Benito Mussolini for the Republican ticket. During the war, he was rejected by the Navy, Marines, and the SS. Now deported, he has retained his contacts with the syndicate and is still regarded as a dangerous character. Mary Belle Monahan, alias Mary Monahan Bell, alias Belle Mary Monahan, alias Monahan Mary Bell. They say she was a gun moll just because Lucky Luciano gave her a Rolls Royce every Christmas. And they can't really prove that she sneaked into the Hollywood Bowl with a Tommy gun and rubbed out the convention of police chiefs in 1956. Oh, I know that she got nailed cold when she was pushing heroin in the laundry room at Boys Town. But I'm willing to give anyone the benefit of the doubt, especially when she's as crazy looking as Mary Bell. This is Happy Jack Monahan, so called because he developed a muscle spasm in his cheeks from watching too many Humphrey Bogart pictures. Happy Jack's record is brief, his only crimes having been committed after his sister, Mary Bell, talked Renzo into giving him a job. Up until that time, Happy Jack had been a tennis bum, sleeping under the bleachers at Forest Hills and mooching nickels in the BMT subway. Since taking up with Renzo, he has become a well-known dice loader and murderer. The most obscure member of the Dark Quartet is Pete Peterson, Jr., son of Pete Peterson, Sr., famed vaudeville bird mimic. Pete Jr. inherited his father's talent for animal imitations, but unfortunately blew his brain out of whack while imitating a whooping crane at the Elks Convention picnic in Oshkosh in 1942. Since then, anyone has been able to convince Pete of anything. Renzo found him struggling along as a pickpocket at Jones Beach and took him with him in his exile. Since then, he has been Renzo's faithful servant, shining his shoes and rubbing out his enemies. In return, Renzo permits him to imitate any animal that comes into his head. That, for instance, was the mating call of the Himalayan yak. There they are, my shipmates. I didn't know where they were taking those unsuspecting Cubans, but I knew they were taking. And so, with grim faces, we set our helm against the perilous future.
Okay, now before I begin, does anyone anything to say? Pete? How about you, Jack? What do you think we should do? Give up?
Oh, now, honey, is that any way for Mary Bell's big man to talk?
Now, look. We've got to get rid of at least half of these Cubans without making the rest of them suspicious. There used to be a Cuban fisherman by the name of Hemingway. He got hooked on a sea monster in these waters a couple of years ago, and he was dragged for miles. Got a lot of publicity. We're going to show these boys the greatest sea monster they ever saw in their lives. Jack, in my trunk, there's some garden rakes used for weeding tomatoes. You get them and sharpen them like scalpers. Pete, you mix up a mess of olive oil and green ink and snag some seaweed from over the side. Now, Jack, what are you going to do? Sharpen up the garden rakes? Good boy. Pete, how about you?
Does he have to do that?
All right, Jack, beat it. We've had a good life together, haven't we, baby?
You know it, Boops. Winters in Tijuana, summers in Cicero. Remember that wonderful trip we took to Monte Carlo?
You mean at the time we heisted all those $100 chips? Sure.
I'll admit, I couldn't really hear anything through that door, but I was sure they were up to no good. I knew it was up to me to stop them.
Now we're off again to parts unknown.
It's like a second honeymoon.
You know something? We ought to get married.
Now, don't be a drag, baby.
How much Jack do you think's in that strong arm?
There's plenty of Cuban sugar, though.
What are we going to do with all of it?
I don't know. I always always wanted to open up a home for the aged hoodlums.
Baby, you got a heart as big as all outdoors.
A government agent lives in constant peril. I devised my undetectable radio set using simulated hot dogs for knobs and tubes inside of dill pickles while watching a number of sewer workmen during lunch hour. It comes in mighty handy, believe you me. One little slip and I could be headed for Davy Jones' locker. Hello, Havana. This is Agent XK-150. Over. I'm making my first official report. So far, not too much has happened, but I'm anticipating. Renzo Capetto and his gang are on board as suspected. I am with them. I will call you again soon, one of these days. This is Agent XK-150, signing off.
Hey, what's happening?
Just having a bite.
Gee, that looks good. Do you mind if I join you?
Come to Mama. Great.
Good morning, encantadora y hermosa criatura.
The general says, good morning, you gorgeous, beautiful creature.
Would you ask the General to remove himself from my presence?
Ella dice que muy buenos días para usted, mi general.
Usted para mí es como una flor del mar, como un ángel de Neptuno sonriéndole al mundo.
The general says you're a golden angel flower singing.
Would you tell the General that I feel that he'd be most at home, barbecuing slowly over a hot spit?
Ella dice que mi general es un hombre muy digno y de gran empuje.
You must be a glutton for punishment.
What do you want?
You're too good for this life. You're young and you're innocent. You should get out. Well, look at it. You're good.
Are you unwell? The getting is great.
You're a victim of circumstance.
I try. I do try.
You're a crazy, mixed-up kid.
I am perfectly adjusted to my life of crime. Now, what is your story?
Oh, well, you see, I'm beyond help, but you're not. You can find a clean young man to marry, and...
I haven't got the time.
But I can help you, Mary Bell.
You can turn blue.
Don't worry, Mary Bell. I'll save you a guy.
That's a comforting alternative.
A secret agent should never sleep, but there I was, dreaming of Mom's apple pie, while up on deck, Renzo and his cutthroats were taking the first step, killing an innocent Cuban, and pretending some imaginary monster did it just so they would be panicked into changing course, so that Renzo could steer them to his own picked destination.
Chief, wait 1 minute, then give the alarm.
But what none of us knew was that the monster invented by Renzo had already been invented by somebody else. By a couple of other monsters, I guess.
Soldados cubanos, algo horrible ha sucedido aquí anoche. 2 de vuestros compañeros han sido cobardemente asesinados. Debemos encontrar al que cometió este cobarde asesinato para que esto no vuelva a suceder.
What did he say? The general says what happened. Yeah, if you'd like to hear. Please go ahead. Well, I don't think it was anything human that killed your soldiers. I've seen the tracks and the claw wounds on their bodies. Now, in my studied opinion, those soldiers were attacked by some weird creature from the sea. Came in, did your boys in, and vanished again. What's so funny? A creature? How silly. Did you really think it?
¿Cuál es la gracia?
Este estúpido gringo cree que Alejandro lo mató un monstruo que salió del...
¡Silencio! Este estúpido gringo tiene razón. Un anfibio desconocido de aguas desconocidas.
Yours, Colonel.
Well, the general says, you're right. It is a monster.
Estas aguas son muy peligrosas. Debemos trazar una nueva ruta.
The general says these waters are very dangerous, so we must plot a new course. Media vuelta a la derecha. Ya. De frente. Marchen. Catch that? Our brave General Tostado didn't miss an excuse to blow the trip and change course.
You think he's got a glint in his eye?
Pure gold. Maybe we won't have to knock them all off.
Oh.
You boys are getting careless. I told you to kill 1, not 2. What's the matter? Can't you count? Okay, Pete. Now, take the wheel.
Well, gee, I thought it was only 1.
Well, I can't figure this out.
So we were going somewhere I didn't know. Washington didn't know. Renzo didn't know. We all had to find out.
Now, gentlemen, I think we ought to make our decision.
Skull.
Thank you, Pete. Now, has anybody got an idea? About what? About where we're going. I thought it was to Ciudad Trujillo we were going. Oh, no. That's been changed. Well, General Tostado thinks we ought to change course in order to escape the monster.
¿Por fin dónde vamos, General?
Caracas, Venezuela. No. No. I think we ought to go to...
Let's go to India. I've always wanted to see a tiger cow.
Actually, I think we ought to go to Cannes. It really swings this time of the year.
Yeah, will you listen?
So strange, my friends. I always had a secret desire. I always wanted to go to Bali, you know?
Bali?
Bali? Bali?
We are not going to Bali.
Caracas, Venezuela.
No. Please tell the General that I am convinced we ought to go to San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Él dice que está convencido, el único sitio puede ir es a San Juan de Puerto Rico.
This is Agent XK150 calling Agent XK120 via 190SL. Come in, Havana.
Now, the first thing we've got to think about is to escape this finky monster. Now, if you take a look at the chart, you'll notice there's a lot of deep water just north of Puerto Rico. Too deep for the monster to live in.
Well, how do you know he can't live in deep water?
Because of his feet. He's a walker, and he's got to stay at the bottom. All right, stupid? Right, Stupid. Now, when we get to Puerto Rico, we'll take the strong box ashore. Now, as an American, I won't be noticed. I'll take a plane up to Ciudad Trujillo. Take the box with me.
I can say unequivocally, without the slightest qualm of doubt, that this gang is heading for Bali. I think the government should watch for us at the Panama Canal. Over.
Que no perderé de vista esa caja. The general says it's all right. We may go to Puerto Rico. But he won't keep the strongbox out of his sight.
Okay, it's a deal.
I think I smell land. Are we almost there?
Oh, about 6 or 8 hours.
Another lucky shooter. Four's the point. Four's the point.
You're ravishing.
You're sick.
Listen, I have a plan. As soon as we get there, we'll wait for night. And when Renzo isn't looking, we'll jump off and swim for shore through shark-infested water so no one will follow us. Then we'll steal a sailing dinghy and head for Brazil. How do you like it?
I think it's grand. You ought to do it.
Well, I meant you, too.
Honey, I wouldn't ride on the same bus with you.
Now, Pete, I want you to listen carefully. Now, on the north coast of the Big Island, there's a teeny speck of land called La Isla del Borracho, named after one of Columbus's lieutenants. It should be deserted by now. We ought to be able to land there, huh? Good. Now, there's a reef around the island and a very narrow opening which we have to go through. I am going to run this yacht on the rocks, right at the entrance. Now, during the panic, we'll take the strong box, load it on a skiff, and head for shore. Now, Pete, when we get over 30 feet of water, I'll give you a signal. And then I want you to capsize the boat. You understand? Later, Pete, we'll come back and dive for it. You understand everything?
Sure. We hit the rocks, and then we put the box in a skiff, and then we dump it over 30 feet of water so we can come back and get it. And that's because it's filled with nitroglycerin. That shouldn't be on board anyway.
Isle of Baracco.
Look at the reefs.
Reefs, dead ahead. We're starting through.
Go!
Come
on, boy. Mary Bell.
Move your hands, sir.
Very well. I won't leave you. I'll never leave you. We'll drown together.
You demented.
My lunch.
My, what a short memory.
¡Hombre, a los golpes! ¡Bájense arriba! ¡Saquen el cerebro de la caja!
Now, you two go down and get the strong box out of the safe. Go on. It's all right. Be calm, everybody. The boat's insured.
Everything went according to plan. The Renzos and the monsters.
Row your boat gently up the creek. Merrily, 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 I'm going to be sick.
You know, this reminds me of one time on Lake Minnetonka. Louise Schmidt and I were paddling along when what do you think happened?
General says you have your order as soon as he can estimate the situation.
Well, you can tell El General. Tell him he's through giving orders around here. Now look, you men have no money and you have no guns and you're on U.S. soil. That's all right, I'm on your side. Pete, I want you to search the island, see if anybody lives here. Jack, you take one of the lifeboats and row to shore. Make your way to San Juan and rent us a fishing boat and plenty of diving gear. Uh-huh. Come on, boys, let's go. Oh, Colonel, you see if you can get your men to build us a lean-to or something to keep the rain off.
Atención! De frente, marche!
Ahora todos a trabajar. Quiero. No tenemos tiempo que perder. Vamos, vamos.
This is just great.
Could stay here forever.
That won't be necessary, baby.
Why?
Well, the way I figure it, these Cubans aren't very much at diving. But Jack, Pete, and I are all pretty good spear fishermen. We'll go down, find the strong box, and hide it in a hole in the reef. After that, we'll tell the Cubans that it's no use. Give up. It'll be safe there for months, even years, until we're ready to come back and get it. You like it?
Booksy, sometimes you are so smart you make me sick.
coño. Eso
Where did you find her, Pete?
Pete, aren't you going to introduce me to the lady?
Isn't she beautiful, Renzo?
Very lovely. Where did you meet? Oh, no.
That must mean they're in love.
I wish you many happy returns of the day.
Oh, isn't that a ring you're wearing, Miss... Porcina Perez?
It's a wedding ring.
Aloha. Get the equipment. Oh, about 20 bottles, 10 regulars, masks, spear guns, the works.
Overdid it as usual. Well, okay, we're going to start diving this afternoon.
I brought something else home with me, too.
No, pongan todo eso ahí otra vez. Vamos a muy...
Carmelita, I'd like you to meet Renzo Capetta, my sister Maribel, Mr. Pete Peterson, and, well, I don't know who the large woman with him is.
Porcina Perez.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
You found this woman in San Juan?
Well, she was living in a sort of sorority house down by the docks. She's awful friendly.
Why don't you come on with me, honey? I'll show you our sorority house.
Senor Capero, I have the honor to report that my men will be ready in 1 hour.
Ready for what?
To dive to the strand box.
You mean your men are divers?
Yes, they are Cuban Army frogmen.
I had the situation well in hand. Maribel was weakening, as I'm sure you've noticed. Then she came into my life. I didn't see her coming, but somehow I sensed her presence and knew that my life was changed forever.
Hello. Who are you?
Carmelita Rodriguez.
Sparks Moran. As a trained espionage agent, I could tell that she was attracted to me. But I wanted Maribel, and Maribel wanted Renzo, and Renzo wanted the gold.
Hey! Mark! Idiot! Let's keep this thing firm.
You all right? Oh, yes.
All right, we're ready. Let's just keep it on. I don't know, but I'm ready.
Vamos, soldados cubanos, a sumergirnos. ¡A sumergirnos! ¡Uno! ¡No! ¡No, gringos! ¡No!
The search for the strong box had begun, but the sea was cluttered up with Cubans, dispersed by General Tostada to search independently. All those Cubans alone in the deep. This was a chance for Renzo to again become the sea monster. A lonely Cuban had found one of the many wrecks on the bottom. And Renzo had found the lonely Cuban. Their attack was cleanly executed. The victim was dead, the killers delighted, but not satisfied. Renzo must have another quart of Latin blood. We waited, sensing the dangers below, while the unholy three sought new prey. It didn't take them long to find it.
What's this, Tut?
No, it was a monster.
What do you mean a monster?
A real, live, honest-to-goodness monster with claws and everything.
Oh, you're nuts. Hold this way.
Carmelita, it's too dangerous for you here. Let's run away and live a little.
No, I'm in love with Sparks.
Sparks Moran?
Let's see.
Well, how can you be in love with him? He's an idiot. You ought to be in love with me.
No, I'm in love with him. And I don't care if he'll never see you again.
Oh, if I'd only paid my life insurance premium, I'd kill myself.
Oh, no. Don't kid yourself.
Well, why not?
No, you come with me. I'll show you. Come with me to the jungle.
You seen one jungle, you seen them all.
You come with me, you see and you like.
Hello, Colonel. Senor, I'm very much afraid of this monster.
Well, let's pick up and go home.
No, I am an officer. We will not stop until we have this strumbox. From now on, we'll dive with spear guns.
Crazy.
Mango! Senor Happy Chuck, this girl is my daughter. Her name is Mango.
¿Mango?
Sí. Óyeme, la novia lo dejó ahora por un idiota y el pobrecito, tú sabes, quería matarse. Pero yo le dije que no lo hiciera, que él necesitaba una persona que lo alegrara. I was telling her what that no good of Carmelita do to you. I was telling her to cheer you up.
Oh, gee, thanks, Porcina. But it really wasn't necessary.
You not like Mango?
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Siento mucho lo que le ha pasado, señor. Es algo que le pasa a todo el mundo con mucha frecuencia. Es lo mejor.
She no speak good English, señor.
Well, I don't think that's going to matter at all.
Okay, I'm going back now. Mr. Peterson Jr. He is waiting for me now.
Well, adios, Porcina.
Adios.
Vas a ir con la tuya, ¿verdad?
¡Suéltame, perro sapo! ¡Suéltame! ¡Quita tus manos sucias arriba de mí, perro!
Are you all right, Porcina?
Oh, I'm all right, my hero.
Hey, where's Happy Jack?
Oh, come on. I'll take you to them.
Them?
Yes.
Tú eres muy dulce, aunque un poco estúpido.
Oh, I don't know what you said, Mango. But it sure was wonderful.
Mi madre quiere que yo sea agradable con los extranjeros. Es como una especie de bienvenida para los turistas.
I feel the same way, Mango. I never felt like this in my whole life before.
A ella le gusta que yo los entusiasme para poder venderles sombreros de palma de coco y sandalias.
Oh, I know, Mango. I know. Well, here come Pete and Porcina.
Se parecen a los premios más baratos en una galería de tiro.
Hi, Jack. Who's your friend?
Well, this is Mango Perez, Porcina's daughter.
Gee, she's almost as pretty as her mother.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah, but can't she do imitations?
Well, I don't know. And I don't care, because I love her.
Gosh, you're gonna marry her?
Yeah, well, why not?
Why not? If you marry Mango, and I marry Porcina, I'll be your father. Woo! What kind of a voice call was that?
Oh, we cannot talk here. We cannot talk. My Mushugan and Hosu, he made big trouble.
Yeah, I just had a fight with him.
You know, Pete, I'm getting tired of all this running around. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to marry Mango and settle down here. Well, I could start a tennis club.
They don't have clubs. They have rackets.
You know, you're right.
But you know something, though? To do the same thing myself. Say, why don't we rub them all out? And this way, we can keep the strong box for ourselves.
Oh, yes. Well, even Maribel?
Oh, gee, I don't know about her.
Well, she is my sister. Of course, we could keep her around to do the housekeeping.
Sure.
And she'll get over losing Renzo.
Sure.
Well, how about it? Is it a deal?
Sure. Besides, they've been cheating on their income tax anyway.
Ay, ya yo me estoy cansando de esta jeringonza. Vamos a nadar, ¿quieren?
Mango, she won't go swimming.
All right,
oh, that's
go. Bart, where's Pete and the boys? They know we should be diving this afternoon.
I think they're somewhere in the jungle.
Señor, está proponiendo una cosa sucia. Le exijo una satisfacción.
What's this? What is this?
This man's wife is playing around with Mr. Pete. He's very angry.
That's tough.
Mire, lo único que puedo hacer es venderla. Yo creo que $50 y una caja de alcaldía está en orden.
This man wants to sell you his wife for $50 and a case of rum.
Tell him he's nuts.
Dice que está loco.
Quien yo no acepto esa clase de insulto a nadie. Ahora le exijo $100.
Carmelita, will you talk to him? We're busy.
Oh, sure. I will tell him to cut down to 20 for a fifth of gin.
Gin nothing. Who wants to buy his improbable wife? Come on, General Tostado, let's get going. Soldados cubanos, de nuevo a sumergirnos. Una, dos y tres. Una, dos y tres. Una, dos, tres. All right, baby. Listen, you hold on to these, because I can't use them without Peter Jack to help me, huh?
I'll keep them warm for you.
Renzo Capetto had at last found the strongbox. And the unknown partner had found Renzo Capetto.
Mango! Mango! Why'd you have to do it, Renzo?
Why did I have to do what?
Don't play games with me. Why'd you kill her?
Jack, I swear I had nothing.
I said don't play games. We all saw the same 5 incisions in those brown marks on that stupid toilet plunger.
Why'd you ask Maribel? I gave her the rakes before I went under.
That won't play. You had 2 more in your trunk, just in case, you said, remember?
Yeah, I remember, but they're still there. I can't convince them, honey. Maybe you can.
Sorry, honey. I'm afraid I'm going to have to go along with Jack.
You think I did it?
Well, what else can I think? You made that monster up out of thin air. Now, don't try to tell me it's real. I'm not that stupid.
Well, I am. I always believed in it.
But it's got to be real. Either that or the Cubans are trying to kill us off.
I can't buy that.
I don't care what you buy. From now on, we're going to die with spears like the rest of them. We've got to get rid of the rest of those Cubans as quickly as possible. Now, we'll start tomorrow morning with tostada.
Jack? Pete?
Possible death notwithstanding, the courageous general and 2 of his men dove once more into the deadly sea. But, as usual, they were not alone. Renzo waited for them to separate. One pulled away, and then there were 2. Tostada went on alone into the forbidding void, with the killers closing in. The giant observer stood watching over a pathetic bit of cloth, all that remained of Mango. At last, Tostada had found his gold in his own watery grave. The general died as all generals should. His greedy murderers let his body drift away while they congratulated each other. Happy Jack found the scrap of a dress and knew what had happened to his beloved. Suddenly,
Go ahead, try to talk yourself out of it. Try to talk yourself cool this time.
Baby.
All right, tell me the Cubans did it, only they were on board pulling in the general. Now, who was down there with Jack?
No, baby, you gotta believe me.
I don't ever have to look at you again.
Oh, Ren. Oh. Maribel, I saw what he did you. They killed your brother. And now you've got to leave, Maribel, and there's no one to help you but me. Oh, Maribel, I love you so much I could split.
Just get on.
What do you do to my man?
Oh, shut up. Oh.
I'll take it.
It was dusk. I could tell because the sun was going down.
You were right, senor. All my army is finished. I know when the general died. I don't care about the box anymore. Let the monster kill it. I don't want him to kill any more of my men.
Neither do I, Colonel.
I think we must go to Ciudad Trujillo in the morning.
You can go anywhere you like. I'm going home.
To America?
America? No, I can't go back there anymore. Sicily.
Oh.
I got an uncle there who's been after me for years to help him stamp grapes. It's beginning to appeal to me.
Mary Bell hates me.
I know. But I love you.
It's kind of nice having somebody love you.
Why don't you try to love me? You might like it.
I guess I can try. She pressed her hot Latin lips against mine, and I forgot everything but Carmelita. But our silent partner was not going to let me forget. This was it. There was but one thing a responsible, trusted representative of the United States government could do at a time like this. Get out of there.
Mary Bell. Yes? Honey, I'd just like one more chance to explain. Please.
It's all right, Brooksy. Doesn't really matter. No matter where you go or what you do or whom you kill. I'll love you till the day I die.
Renzo loved Mary Bell, but he was the skipper and decided to go down ahead of his ship.
Carmelita, I've never known a girl like you.
You have spent your whole life in a monastery?
Carmelita, I love you, and I want to marry you and take you away from all this.
That I would like it, I think.
Of course, we'd have to live on the salary of an American spy, which is $41.50 a week.
I don't care. You're so strong, so intelligent. You see how you solved this whole case? You're the smartest torpedo in the whole world.
I'm not really as smart as I look, Carmelita. You see, I have to admit that all that time I thought Renzo and the Cubans were trying to steal that strong box. But I was wrong. The real killer was the monster.
So what? You're beautiful.
So I got the girl. And guess who got the gold?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. What is the ultimate science can offer? Truth. One of these truths is this. Hidden within each of us is not only the capacity to love and hate, but to take that final step to be not only a creator, but a destroyer, a mad, unreasoning killer. That final breakdown of our manners, mores, customs, that take us away from the millions of years leading to civilization, back to the animalistic, the monster that lies within each of us. And now, as is my custom, I come to that final prognostication Dr. Basso predicts. Powers of the atavistic and extrasensory perception, I call on Dorina for a prediction. This very night, in our very time, and on the shores of this lake, the prognostication is murder.
Stay with her till I die. With a toothpick in my hand, I dig a 10-foot ditch and run through the jungle, fighting the lions with a switch, because you know I love you, baby. Yeah, you know I love you, baby. Well, if I don't love you, baby, grits and groceries, eggs and poultry, and Mona Lisa was a man. All around the world, I got blisters on my feet. Try to find my baby, bring her home with me. You better run it to me, baby, and be convinced. If you don't love her, then you ain't got no sense, because you know I love you, baby. Ooh, you know I love you, baby. Well, if I don't love you, baby, grits and groceries, eggs and poultry, and Mona Lisa was a man. Oh, love me, baby. I lost all my money, my woman, and my pet. Gotta have you, little baby, settle for nothing less. I give up all my good time, girls, and stay for happiness, because you know I love you, baby.
Hiya, beautiful. Hey, where's your big sister?
Right behind you!
Hello, darling.
Hello.
You know, it's the other party you were invited to.
Really? I seem to prefer this one.
Are you enjoying your weekend with the Irish?
Frankly, it's pretty heady stuff for a psychologist. Some of those tycoons in there, and your father included, scare the heck out of me.
You want to get away from them for a while?
Oh, now there's a brilliant idea. See what happens when you hang around me?
I'm with you.
Let's go.
It's a black hooded figure. You've broken the law. Now he's on your trail. Run, hasten, hurry, and say it, start accelerating. Oh, I got in the courtroom jail. Here he comes now. Look in the sky. It's a bat signal light. He's a man on the scene in regards to stopping trouble. So don't participate with infractions of the law. Or robbers, thieves, and bandits should have some apprehension when contemplating breaking the law. Here he comes now. Look in the sky.
So that grabby little man finally let you go.
That grabby little man happens to represent an investment portfolio of $1 million. Huh. Where's Lynn and Ted?
They went for a walk down by the lake. I wish they hadn't.
Oh? Why?
You heard what Dr. Basso said. Something terrible's going to happen along the beach tonight.
Big deal, big deal.
After that demonstration, how can you be so skeptical?
Demonstration? It wasn't a demonstration. That was an act. Purely for the entertainment of our members, nothing more.
He takes a girl and puts her in a hypnotic trance and takes her back to a former life. And you're not impressed.
Money impresses me, baby. Money. Not goo-goo eyes. Oh, except yours, of course.
Do you know where Dr. Basso is?
Nope. Not unless he, disappeared in a puff of smoke.
Mother is just crazy about that Dr. Basso.
Basso? John Basso?
Do you know him?
I know of.
He really put on a wild show tonight.
A show?
He took a girl back to her former life. I wish you had been there to see it.
So do I. It's possible.
Really?
Really. Stay here. Lynn? Lynn?
What? What is it, Ted?
Who lives here?
This is the honeymoon cottage.
You go back to the lodge. Call the police. Go on! Go on! I'll wait for you here.
Never seen anything like it. Neck broken in two, like a pile driver hitting. Same for her over there.
$120 in here. That lets robbery out.
Seaweed. All the way to the door.
Carpet's wet here. See if you can find me some powder. Well, Well, before we do any damage, we better call the lab boys.
What do you think would make a print like that?
I don't know, a clever man could have forged it.
You think a man did that?
You got any better ideas?
No.
Call the lab boys and wait for them here. I want pictures, lots of them.
It may come back.
What might come back? Come on. Here, have the boys rope off this entire area right down to the water. Come on. How long have the Beasleys been here?
They've only just arrived. Seem like nice kids.
Officer.
Yes, Mrs. Crane.
Officer, I don't know if this is important, but Dr. Basso predicted something terrible would happen along the beach.
Dr. Basso?
An entertainer, a hypnotist. We've booked here for the week.
He's a clairvoyant. There was a demonstration, and he said that some creature out of time was hovering over us, more than 1,000,000 years old.
I think we'd better have a talk with this Dr. Basso. Where's he staying?
He's in cabin 47.
We appreciate your cooperation.
Lieutenant Blake.
Yes.
Lieutenant, I'd like to point something out to you. Now, I saw those bodies, and whoever mutilated them has a very special problem.
Yes, I realize that. Tell me something new, Captain.
I am a psychologist.
Well, then, as a psychologist, what is your opinion of this Dr. Basso and his monster theory?
That anything is possible. As a scientist, I keep an open mind.
Yes, Captain. Anything is possible. We'll see you in the morning.
You have been in a deep sleep, a very deep sleep. You will waken. You will feel refreshed. When I touch you, Dorina, you will waken. You will come back to me young and beautiful. I will touch you, and you will waken.
Dr. Basso? Yes. Lieutenant Blake, homicide. I want to talk to you. I understand you put on quite a performance for the guests tonight. A honeymoon couple was murdered.
What has that to do with me?
You predicted something would happen in the beach area.
Yes, I had a message. A premonition, if you like.
When did you get this message?
Tonight, during my demonstration. Many times during states of heightened concentration, I receive sensory impulses.
I see. Had you ever been to the couple's cottage or to that particular part of the beach area before tonight?
No.
Mr. Crane said you were talking about a monster.
Yes. There was no doubt in my mind that she would come.
She?
She. A huge, indestructible creature that comes out of the beginning of time. She will strike again and again.
Yeah, sure.
I feel her presence even now.
And she calls to you?
I seem to be the only one who can hear her.
And all this hocus pocus is supposed to be scientific?
The science of ultimate research into the hidden recesses of man's mind.
Yeah, well, right now, Dr. Basso, I'd say you were as good a suspect as any. I don't happen to believe this scientific jazz of yours.
Each man is entitled to his own beliefs, Lieutenant. Mine are on the record.
So I've heard. You believe a monster lurks in each of us.
You've done your homework well, Lieutenant.
I try, Dr. Basso. I try.
I warn you, she will come ashore again.
When?
Alas, I do not know.
That's a lot of help.
I'm back, my darling. When I touch you, you awaken.
What time is it?
After midnight, how do you feel?
You've had me in deep hypnosis, and I asked you not to do that.
You were tired. You needed rest.
I need to get away from here and away from you. I feel like I've been dead, and you do that again, and I'm going to leave you sitting here like a piece of clay.
You will never leave me. You cannot.
Someday I will.
Dorina, you mustn't talk that way. You are not only necessary to my psychic researches, you are necessary to me as a man. We are one. We are inseparable. Soon we will be rich, famous, powerful. The hate you now feel will turn to love. Dorina, close your eyes. You will never leave me. As long as I live, I will possess you. Something beyond yourself makes you need me. Do you understand?
I understand.
I found you in the gutter. What were you before I found you, Dorina?
Nothing.
I gave you a new life. Soon a more magnificent life will be ours. Now listen closely. There was an accident tonight here at Tanglewood.
Good morning, Ted. Good morning. Well, Lieutenant Blake seems to be a nice guy. Efficient. Has anything turned up yet? Nope. Some folks think Basso had something to do with it. Do you? No, of course not. He lucked out with that prediction. I don't believe in that junk. Do you?
Research has proven that some people have the ability to see into the future. Precognition, we call it.
Well, then, maybe he's got it. Look at that front page. Ted, you're brilliant in your line. Psychic research, whatever that is.
We merely try to explain the unexplainable.
I'm a simple man. I know only one way to judge a man's brilliance, and that's by the size of his bank account.
In that case, I'd rank right along with the village idiot.
Nothing to it making money. All you've got to do is want it more than the next guy. Why, even in my retirement, I play a little game every day with a newspaper. I look the front page over very carefully, searching for an item that I think might make me some money.
Does it work?
Sometimes. There's $1 million idea in this headline. Read the last paragraph.
Beach couple found murdered. One baffling aspect of the case concerns Dr. John Basso, who calls himself an investigative hypnotist. Last night at Tanglewood, a country club resort owned by the retired wealthy investor Sam Crane, Dr. Basso predicted that something horrible would happen on the beach area. He was questioned by police, but not held. You see a fortune in that?
I smell money in it, and it's right up your alley. It's yours as a wedding present.
You're not serious.
I couldn't be more serious. Why, we can take this two-bit sideshow man and make him into the greatest thing in the country. We'll put on a publicity campaign till everybody's talking about him. We'll manage him. We'll publish Basso books, syndicate columns, book him on the lecture tour, TV shows. Ted, there's money in this prediction. Big money. And between us, we can do it.
And where do I fit in?
Why, you give him the stamp of approval, Ted. Captain Theodore Dell, young psychologist, says Basso's experiment's amazing. Opens a whole new avenue into the understanding of the subconscious. Why, it's the kind of escape stuff the whole world's crying for. Look at my wife and her friends. Ted, it's a natural. Why, it'll be a lark for me and money for you.
Sorry, Sam. I wouldn't touch that kind of money.
Wait till it starts piling up. That'll take care of your scruples.
I've been trained to fight this sort of thing, not make a living from it.
You'll get the hang of it.
Well, you count me out.
Ted, my daughter's going to need money. I have no intentions of supporting her and her husband. Why don't you go look at the act tonight? When you see him in action, you might change your mind.
You mean after what's happened, you're going to stage another one of the...
Well, sure. The show must go on. So think it over, Teddy boy. Think it over. Brilliant. Just brilliant.
Morning, Lieutenant.
Hi, Nick. Coroner's report?
Yeah. Strangulation. Neck bones were mutilated to a pulp.
Any idea of the weapon used?
Oh, it was like
Good
a...
morning.
Morning.
Coffee?
Yes, Mason, please. It was like a steel hook, just tore him apart.
Any special marks?
Well, the imprint of a talon on the back of the necks.
A talon?
A talon, like an eagle. Anything from the lab?
No, not much. No prints. Just some salt water stains, some sand, some seaweed. Nothing of value missing. No evidence of anyone having been in the room.
Well, do they have any idea what caused the prints?
Not a one.
This case gives me the creeps. I think we're up against a...
Now, don't tell me. Let me guess. You think we're up against a monster? Science fiction stuff. But very good business.
Entree. How long have you been in this racket?
Still a non-believer, huh?
Oh, save that for the paying guests.
I assure you, I have been in communication with your thoughts.
Oh? Well then, suppose you tell me why I came.
You wish to discuss business with me?
Good guess.
That was no guess, Mr. Crane.
Fine, but let's not haggle. How would you like to be a rich man?
I would like that very much.
You've got something to sell. People pay for class. All this beats Coney Island, doesn't it? Television will pay top dollar for your act.
I have no act. I have knowledge.
Attaboy. Keep a straight face. Hit 'em hard. Now our deal goes down the middle, 50-50. I'll back you until the thing gets rolling. Well, what do you say?
I accept.
Our deal begins as of now. We'll get the ball rolling tonight. I'm having some important people in. A newspaper man, a publisher, a psychologist, Dr. Dell.
Captain Dell? The young Air Force psychologist?
The same. He's a national hero. And if we can get his endorsement, we've got it made. Now play it big. Give them some more of that out-of-the-world stuff, and they'll love it. Give them more predictions, big ones. Another murder.
She will come out of the lake again. And she must kill.
Attaboy. Make them shiver.
They should. In my hands lies a power that has been given to no other man.
Boy, you are a salesman. Nothing like self-confidence. Now, this is business. Big business. I'll have the papers drawn up right away. Your contract will be with my daughter. It's a sort of a surprise wedding present for her. Oh, by the way, how much time will you need to set up any gadgets?
I use no gadgets, Mr. Crane.
All right. I'll see you tonight. Make it big. I don't care what you do as long as we shake 'em.
The door has opened for us, Dorina. We shall pass through it together, and your loveliness will sweep a triumphant path before us. I will touch you, and you will awaken.
Evidently, I missed out. Who's that?
His assistant. Her name is Dorina.
She's beautiful.
Folks, we have a very unusual act tonight. It's showtime, and may I present Dr. Basso.
Ladies, gentlemen, it has been my very good fortune to find in this young lady the perfect hypnotic subject. Tonight, I will reveal the secret of life. You will now drift back through time and space. You will leave your present body and journey back.
She's trying to resist him.
What?
And now for that phase of my work that has earned me such names as fraud and charlatan. I am privileged tonight to have in my audience one of the country's most promising parapsychologists, Captain Theodore Dell. I'm sure many of you are familiar with his work in combat psychosis. Dr. Dell represents the school of applied psychology, my most outspoken critics. I invite him to join me tonight on the platform so that he may expose me as a fraud. Doctor?
Well, thank you for a very nice introduction, but I think I'll sit this one out.
The doctor refuses?
Go on, Ted. Go on up.
Now, you will find this most interesting. I will now prove that life is one unbroken chain, that it is endless, that we have been given continuous life, perpetual life. Tonight, I will take Dorina, an ordinary American girl, back through time and space to her former existence as Marion Rhodes. We will journey together back into history, 300 years. Would you care to question the subject? Dorina, you will hear this man's voice.
I understand.
You will answer any questions he asks you, fully and truthfully.
I will.
She's all yours, Captain.
Where were you born?
Chicago.
Were your parents born in America?
Yes.
What national blood strains do you carry?
Belgian, Dutch, and French.
No English?
No.
Did your parents or your grandparents ever live in England?
No.
Have you ever been to England?
No.
Have you ever been especially interested in English literature or history?
No.
You are now traveling back through time, through space, farther and farther back into the past. Stop when you wish, when you see something familiar. Do you wish to stop now?
Yes.
Tell me where you are now.
In my father's study.
What is your father's name?
Ronald Welford Rhodes.
Where is your father's house located?
Oxenham Road in London.
What is your name?
Marion Ann Rhodes.
And the day and the year?
Sunday, October 12, in the year of our Lord, 1618.
You are smiling, Marion. Why?
Captain Anthony Meade is due, and he's going to ask for my hand in marriage.
You will hear another voice, Marion. You may answer that voice.
The year is 1618. Who is your reigning monarch?
James.
Is he a beloved monarch?
No. Hated. Feared.
Who is Sir Edward Coke?
Was Chief Justiciar till James had him deposed.
When was that?
Last year, in November.
Who is Frances Howard?
Divorced wife of the Earl of Essex, now wife of the Lord Chamberlain, the Earl of Somerset.
Upon what grounds was the divorce granted?
It was said she was possessed by witches.
Remarkable?
Impressive, but hardly convincing.
I have shown you one phase of my work. Marion Rhodes has related names and events that can be validated. But there are still more frontiers to be explored. However, the demonstration is over for tonight. I am being informed that the creature that visited the beach house will return again tonight. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Dorina's very tired. She needs rest. So if you will please excuse us.
Doctor?
Well, Captain, what do you think of my experiment?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't know. So if you don't mind, I would like to borrow your assistant, Dorina, for my own examination.
In the interest of science, I'm more than willing. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll get some air.
I don't feel alone in this world of lonely people. I'm sure I've found just where it's at. I played at love and lost, but I'm not certain that's a reason to be so unhappy that I don't wanna live. Life goes on. I don't feel alone in this world of lonely people. I'm sure I've found just where it's at. I played at love and lost, but I'm not certain that's a reason to be so unhappy that I don't wanna live. Life goes on, it goes
One of the boys got a glimpse of the whatever it is. Our artist did a workup there. Ever seen anything like that?
No?
Possibly fear of the unknown coupled with some strange sound made him think he saw that thing when all he really saw was a patch of fog.
Possibly.
You're not much help.
Lieutenant, stop fighting the truth. It is just as possible the boy saw the soul of a living woman, transmigrated to her first primitive body.
Yeah, I know, 1,000,000 years old.
Perhaps more. Simply because you've never seen such a thing, don't deny that it can exist.
It exists only in your publicity-seeking imagination.
Think what you will, but the boy saw it.
Basso, you're just this far away from being booked.
On what charge? Being in communication with the occult world? Lieutenant, because of my publicity-seeking imagination, I find myself with an extremely heavy schedule. So if you don't mind, I will excuse you. You know, Dorina, you're not to be out by yourself.
Basso, please. Please let me go. You can get another assistant. There are lots of girls who...
No, my dear. There are not lots of girls. There's only you.
I'd go away quietly. I wouldn't tell anyone your secret.
You will do as I say. You will sleep and rest. Rest. You will understand and do as I say. Dr. Dell is going to come to talk to you. He will try to hypnotize you. You must resist this. You will resist. He is our enemy. He is trying to destroy us. Your beauty must not be destroyed. It is mine to do with as I will. You will love me as I love you. Now I must go. You do remember all I've said to you?
Yes.
Good afternoon. You, certainly picked a hot spot for our first session. You know, I'd hoped to place you under hypnosis, but I hardly think this is the place.
It wouldn't do you any good. You can't hypnotize me.
You've been instructed to resist me. I see. Look, you must understand, I want to help you. Get you back to a real life. You've been living in a shadow.
Just ask the questions, Doctor.
Well, our book's going to the printer. Closed a deal with Beale's Syndicate this morning. And next month, 350 newspapers serialize the Marion Road story. How do you like that for quick profit?
I salute you.
Not I. It's that sales ability of yours.
Oh, it's much more than just sales ability.
Oh, sure.
Mr. Crane, I think it's time we split 60-40 in my favor.
Oh, just a minute.
I don't have a minute. It's 60-40 or nothing.
Well, I guess we can arrange something satisfactorily.
I'm sure we can. Oh, yes, it's not a good idea to allow your family to go to the beach.
Doc, don't press your luck. And you better lay off that prediction stuff. One miss, and our profits take a nosedive.
I'm certain our good fortune will continue.
Same M.O.?
I know it's Basso.
If I said that, you'd say I wasn't taking the scientific approach.
It's gotta be. Two young kids, wrong place at the wrong time. But I'll get him. I'll get him.
Were you asleep when it happened?
The last thing I remember was Dr. Basso saying good night.
Had he put you into a deeper state of hypnosis?
Yes, he said I needed the rest.
Do you remember anything after he put you into that state?
Nothing. It's like I've been dead.
How do you feel now?
Very tired. As if I've been doing something very strenuous.
Strange. I would think that, well, you'd feel rested.
I know I should. I never do. Ted?
Well, go on.
There's something wrong with me. I have the ability to kill.
Most of us do.
I don't mean that. There's something else.
Can you tell me?
No.
You do know that you have to get away from him. You need to be weaned away from him. It'll take time. It's like getting rid of an infectious disease.
Why are you wasting your time on me?
Am I? Wasting my time?
Yes.
May I? I want to talk to you, Dorena. You heard about those two kids tonight?
Yes.
The whole town's in an uproar. I'm up against a stone wall, stymied. 5 innocent people killed, not a sign of a human. Dorena, in my business, we have to be blunt. Somehow I know Basso's guilty. I just know it.
That sounds like an accusation.
You bet your life it is.
Any evidence?
No evidence, no proof, no nothing. Yet I know Basso hates the whole world and everybody in it, except himself. I believe he'd set a match to the whole thing if he could. Well, what do you think?
About Basso?
About Basso.
I don't have any answers there either.
Look, I want you to conduct a clinical examination of Basso. Use some of your own experts.
No, that's impossible. Lieutenant, let me tell you something. Parapsychology is in its infancy. We don't prove, we don't disprove. We merely investigate. Now, this sort of thing could bloom into a full-grown carnival, and that's right up Basso's alley.
The DA wants it.
Well, what you need is a few more policemen with some magnifying glasses.
Look, I can subpoena you if necessary.
Check with my CO.
Already have.
Will you talk to Basso?
I've done that too. He'd be delighted.
He would?
Uh-huh. The rest is up to you.
That business last night I didn't like.
It was terrible.
It was coincidence, wasn't it?
You want it to be coincidence?
Of course.
You will never believe. You brought the new contract? Yes, this appears to be much more satisfactory.
Well, don't depend on any more changes. There's going to be an investigation this afternoon, a bunch of head shrinkers.
An investigation?
I'll try to stall it off.
Why? This is what I want. Official recognition.
Listen, these are not hysterical women. These are real doctors.
I am a real doctor.
Oh, come off it. Don't give me that stare. I can look right back at you. And you know what I see? I see a cheap fortune teller with delusions of grandeur.
You shouldn't have said that. But you're a stupid man.
Well, maybe I am. Anyway, business is business, and I'm sorry I blew up.
It makes no difference.
I've got some television people in tonight for the demonstration. I'll try to line up a network spot for you.
You have relived part of your life as Marion Rhodes. Now you may rest. You will go into a deep sleep.
The details which you have heard have proven to be accurate. After the last demonstration, I sent a cable to England. There is a grave with the headstone reading Marion Ann Rhodes, 1600 to 1651.
Could have been planted.
She could be rehearsed. Perhaps you have created only a vaudeville act.
That's very flattering. Could anyone have rehearsed the intimate details of her life in 17th century England? Her speech, her mannerisms? Every statement this girl has made has been proven, consequent to its having been made.
She may have read extensively.
Not so. She is no scholar. She never finished school. Her life is a matter of record. Is that not so, Lieutenant Blake?
Yes.
Do you think this is a hoax, Ted?
My mind is open.
Gentlemen, it is quite simple. As men of science, you must know that anything that will shatter a long-held concept is usually rejected. I have taken this girl back to a life she led 300 years ago. I can take her even farther back, say, to the moment of her soul's creation.
Can you materialize her into a maniac that goes around the beach killing?
Was that supposed to be a joke?
Did it sound like a joke? I want some answers, Basso.
Well, we all do. But this is a somewhat scientific examination, not a courtroom.
I do not see how we can accomplish anything further.
You cannot see because you do not want to see. I thought I wanted recognition from you. But now that I realize the truth, it means nothing to me.
This has been impressive, but meaningless. Thank you, Doctor, for a very interesting afternoon. Yes. Doctor?
Thank you, Doctor. And what I said about Basso still goes.
But it's still just an opinion, Ted.
I know. But it's still one of the best opinions around.
What is it you want me to do?
Get rid of him.
Good evening, stranger.
Lynn, Ted thinks that we should dissolve our business with Basso. It'll make $1 million. It's a nice nest egg for you two.
Thanks for the offer. I'm sure I'll never have another like it.
What's gotten into that boy? Here now. Everything's going to be all right.
It doesn't matter. We'll be leaving the country tomorrow.
I'm not going.
You will be going.
I'm staying with Ted.
You will do as I say.
Oh, no. I found the strength to resist you. Ted's given it to me.
If I were not confident of our love, I wouldn't allow Dr. Dell to see you. You are mine. No one will ever take you away from me. You are mine, and I am yours. You do understand that, and believe it.
Doctor!
Mr. Crane.
Everybody's here. I have some very important people I want you to meet. They're interested.
Wait here.
I'm aware that right now you're in his power. Dorina, if you can hear me, let me know. You must realize that even now you have the power within you to resist him. I'll help you. Together we'll fight him. Dorina, if you can resist him publicly, he'll have to let you go. Dorina, listen very carefully to me. It is Ted. It's Ted. I want you to be free. You must fight against Basso. I can help you. As he speaks to you, my own thoughts will join with yours.
Good evening, Captain.
Good evening.
If you will excuse us, it's time to begin.
May I present Dr. Basso?
Good evening. I trust that those of you who have witnessed my demonstrations realize that the purpose is education, not entertainment. You will close your eyes in a deep, refreshing sleep. Your eyes are heavy. You are in a state of complete repose. I will count to 4, and you will close your eyes in sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4. My subject is not herself tonight. She is too tense. You are tense. Relax. Relax. I think we are ready to try again. want to sleep. You are very tired. You want a pleasant sleep. Your eyes are very heavy. You are falling into a deep sleep. I'm talking to you, Dorina. Where were you born? Where were you born?
Is everything all right?
What's this all about, Crane?
It's part of the act.
Ladies and gentlemen, my subject is disturbed tonight. Her world is disturbed. I feel a menace to the people of this resort. I urge you all to leave Tanglewood and return to your homes.
Give me your attention, please. I'm Lieutenant Blake, Police Department. I want everyone to do as Dr. Basso says, in an orderly manner. Now, go to your cars. When everyone is in a car, leave together. Stay together. I have men all along the road. Let's go. Condition 3, I have everyone here organized for convoy to town. Send a car for escort. I'll stay here.
Hasn't this thing gone far enough?
Have it your way. But you remember that I warned all of you.
All right, now bring her out of it.
Are you ordering me?
Bring her out of it immediately.
Suppose you get her out of it yourself. You pretend to be the expert. There he is. Get him. Stop. Put her down. Stand away. Dorina and I were together, at least in spirit. Your interference made her waver. You killed that spirit.
What do you gain by killing me? The worst you can be charged with is accessory to murder.
I gain the satisfaction that the one who shattered my world pays for the offense.
No! No!
Oh, Dorina. I cannot let you leave me. In this ugly world, you were all that mattered to me. Soon we will be together, in spirit, again.
I'd like to believe that I cut through to her, but we'll never know. One way or another, she destroyed the creature. She knew that the creature was some sort of physical link to her past. In destroying herself, the creature could not exist. She searched for freedom and found violence, terror, destruction, greed. Was Basso right? Is there a monster lurking within each of us? Waiting, waiting.